Ladies and gentlemen, with just 11 hours left in this Save Thor News March edition, the good news is we are $80 to $100 away from saving me and keeping Thor News up and running for another month. The bad news is, about 4 hours ago, in the middle of all the tornado stuff, I ran into some serious hackerage, and so I had to fully reset my computer, and I'm starting back in on this re-marathon talking about Mercury in retrograde, because you may or may not believe in astrology or the alignments of the planets, the vibrations or anything, but I try to bring you what I know as the truth, and it seems like there is some type of validity into the things that happen and the energy that goes on when Mercury is retrograde. And thanks to the knowledge of the Leo King, I have learned that this is one of the specialist Mercury retrogrades in like 2,000 years. Because if I understand it correctly, it's like all the planets are going direct, and then Mercury's going to go retrograde, and when it comes back retrograde to direct, all the planets will still be going direct, which is supposedly a very, very, very rare event. So yeah, we are in uncharted territory in the future. A lot of things going on. And so expect miscommunications, misunderstandings, and probably squabbles and squibbles. This article's from like a year ago, but Mercury goes retrograde, I think, tomorrow. Calm down, computer. Calm down. Okay, if you're experiencing a spell of bad luck, many people ask you the same question. Is Mercury in retrograde? Not yet. It's stationed today, but I think tomorrow the 4th, it will be in retrograde. Astrologists believe that the planet is to blame for bringing periods of misfortune down on Earth. I think that's a broad generalization. Fox, I can't believe you did that. Asterisk. Dash, and it's happening again on Monday. Mercury is expected to enter retrograde, appearing to turn the opposite direction in relation to the other planets. Another thing is, planets give off a vibration, and so it's like blue shifting or red shifting. And so we get that vibration, and so it matters. I didn't explain that very well. I think I'm tired, and I'm kind of stressed out. Okay, Mercury is expected to enter retrograde tomorrow. This is an old article. Normally, the planets move west to east through the stars at night. This is referred to as prograde motion. A blog post by NASA's Astrophysics Science Division, ASD, explains. However, periodically the motion changes, and they move east to west through the stars. We call this retrograde motion. All right. When planets go through retrograde, they just appear to be moving in the opposite direction when we look up at the sky from Earth. It is not real. The planet does not physically start moving backward in its orbit, ASD clarifies. It just appears to do so because of the relative positions of the planet and Earth and how they're moving around the sun. From our point of view, it looks like the planet is making a giant loop-de-loop or squiggle in the sky, the Washington Post described in a post last spring, which is actually now last spring. Okay, great. Since Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, it circles the big star in the center of the solar system faster than any other planet every 88 days, traveling through space at nearly 112,000 miles an hour, which is mind-blowing if you consider it, and sometimes it makes you go, Therefore, Mercury tends to undergo this effect more frequently than its neighbors. True story. About every 4 months. And every time it does, astrologers warn people to prepare themselves for 4 weeks of bad first dates, work frustrations, and a variety of other problems. Yeah, I mean, they say, like, don't start things during Mercury retrograde. Don't sign contracts during Mercury retrograde. And one thing I found is that a lot of people will come back from your past, especially ex-girlfriends. And though I don't have to worry about that because some of my ex-girlfriends have never left, even if we haven't been dating for 15 months or 3 years. But I still love them all the same. Oh my God, why do people have such problems getting along and communicating directly these days? Did you know that dating was much easier back in the day before smartphones and the internet, when you had clear communication face to face? Like, it was so much easier to get shit done. In a subtweet world, like, yeah, of course everybody's fighting all the time. I think that's what the internet was designed to do, to make humans hate each other. Some believe that the idea of the planet turning back represents a suggestion that people should reflect back on their lives. Well, you know, that's not a bad idea. You gotta look back to see how far you come. And think about it. Even like 2012, when we were like, oh my God, the world's ending. Think how much tougher we are now. Thus, it's a bad idea to start anything new, relationships, projects, etc., until Mercury is officially out of retrograde. Astrology believers say. Superstition has grown over the years. Some even created a website called ismercuryretrograde.com to track the astrological event and provide an explanation as to why something is bumming you out. Astronomers, on the other hand, have repeatedly rejected the theory that Mercury has an impact on your mood or outcome of your day. No, that is usually Pluto, Eris, and Mars can fug up your shiz. Mercury goes retrograde soon. Get all your communications and travel plans in order now. And it's always best to like double check stuff. And like I said, it's easier to have computer malfunctions. I know that the 2 laptops ago, when I dumped an entire drink on the front of my laptop, that was during a Mercury retrograde. And that was just a weird freak, like, trip across the room. You got a giant, like, Slurpee cup. It flies straight out of my hand and then lands like 8 feet across the room right on my keyboard. And that computer was dead. I love that computer, man. I made the majority of Thor News on that, but this one's been pretty good. The one in the middle was horrible. Are you having trouble focusing or manifesting? Man, I've been having trouble manifesting for like 3 years. And that's one of the reasons they talk about, what is it, the law of attraction? I don't know about that shit, man. You know, because I'm not saying everything's legit and correct, but like in the law, I spent a lot of time manifesting or thinking about, dreaming of, planning of, trying to attract really good stuff to me. But over the last 3 years, all I've been getting is the shit kicked out of me, left and right, up and down. Good shit don't happen. They're like, oh, you're manifesting that with your negative thoughts. Hell no. I can spend days thinking good thoughts, and then somebody realizes I'm in a good mood and comes and kicks me in the nuts. It's more complicated than that. But the one things I get into is like, okay, like you say, astrology is not correct at all. Well, then how come every single religion associated Venus with female and fertility and love? How come every single religion and society associated Mars with war? You know? And that like Jupiter with abundance. I don't know. There's a little truth to it, I believe. You don't have to believe it. You can believe whatever you want to believe, man. You can believe the universe is 13 billion years old because they took some carbon data and licked a rock or something. Okay. I don't think Mercury gets enough credit. Mercury is a total badass. Mercury is a total badass. I mean, to survive and thrive right next to the sun in between Venus, you got to be a total badass. The idea of the gravity from these very distant bodies affect our lives in some way just doesn't work in the framework of physics, said Jean-Luc Margot as he offered to sell you carbon and dark matter, because they totally fit in the framework of physics. Although, what is it? Spooky action. Spooky action. Jackson is back. Columbia University astronomy professor David Helfand agreed, emphasizing that the event is simply an illusion and doesn't have any deeper meaning. See, I don't even know. I'm a Sagittarius, right? And I'm like a classic Sagittarius optimist, you know, semi-heroic. And I find that most people are pretty much just like their signs. Like Scorpios are Scorpios, and Capricorns are Capricorns, and Aries are Aries. Anyway, magical thinking isn't going to solve our problems. Yeah, well, neither is a carbon tax, buddy. How is a carbon tax going to solve anything? Especially, have you ever worked with an oil company before? Okay. Magical astrology has no physical mechanism to explain any physical effect. It doesn't need to explain anything. Many people want to point blame at someone or something. I agree with that. Like I said, everybody likes to look at these collection of problems that we've gathered over the last 3,000 to 7,000 years and then point at one person or one group and say it's all their fault. Where I like to say, hey guys, we are all responsible for this shit show. we are quagmired in, and unless we all work together to fix it, we're going to sink. And then fall in the volcano. And then get shit out by volcano dragons. Nobody wants that. Or something. Whether Mercury is in retrograde or not, you're ultimately responsible for your own actions in life. Helfland added, well, thanks for that, buddy. Jennifer Aniston. So there you go. You know, and I actually did 30 minutes on this before I'd edited, but I just had to reset my whole computer. So yeah, will Mercury affect you? We'll see. But, and I'll have more to say on this probably, but I thought this would be a good way to start back. Here you go. Okay, everybody, stay cool. And if you want to support me, I'll leave my PayPal link in the information box. We're about $80 to $100 away from making it. So I got a lot of hope considering we were at like $400 24 hours ago. You guys are amazing. Fantastic. I super appreciate you. And yeah, I'll get back to the weather because that shit has been crazy. Tornadoes are tearing up everything everywhere. Okay, peace out. Stay cool. God bless everyone.